Welcome to DS Trucks. Firing up the camera, just hanging out here in the 450, going for a drive. Just finished the video, and I felt like this is just a cool camera angle. Why not fire up the camera and do a little podcast style talking, whatever you want to call it. I just thought this was a cool view. Check it out. Got my camera here on the gimbal mounted. It moves around. You can see out of the windows if we need. But yeah. What a good winter we're having. You know, it's one of those things. I've set myself up with my snow accounts to really try to have a win-win. You know, we get a lot of snow, then I'll make out. If we don't get any snow, I'll be okay. You know, in the past years, we'd get hardly any snow and it would hurt. It would hurt. And then we'd run our route and it'd be real good. But if we don't run our route, I lose money. Like I lose a ton of money. So I set myself up this year to be able to have some money, to be able to make some investments in the business. And in the event that it does snow a lot, and it hasn't really snowed a whole lot, you know, it's not been a situation where it's breaking a ton of records or anything like that. But this February, guys, this February has really kicked up quite a bit. You know, as you see, it's all white. It's all white out here from snow. I've set myself up, you know, if it doesn't snow, I'll still be all right and be able to make investments. If you follow the channel, you know that we grabbed a new snowplow this year. It wasn't a brand new snowplow, but it was used, but it's actually doing a little bit of work. It's relieving me a little bit. If it breaks down, which it is having, it's not new, you know, it's got some, small leaks or whatever, but on one of the seals, but, it's still out there working. It's still out there getting after it. It's not under the same stress as this one, but you know, it's definitely helping. And if it breaks down, then I have this truck. It could definitely pick up the slack. And if this truck breaks down or if this plow breaks down, then it can get done. It would suck, but it could get done with that truck. Now, if you follow the channel, you know we just did a snow wiring repair, and since doing that repair, everything's been functioning great, working great. The only downside is the C-rings on the LED headlights are still not functional, but that's not that big a deal. Not that big of a deal, but they are functional. Or they're not functional, I'm sorry. When the plow is on, the C-rings turn off. But when the plow is turned off, the C-rings do function as normal. It's just not working when the plow's on, which is, like I say, it's not a huge factor. It would be cool if they were working, but it is not a huge factor. So that went well. That install, that all went well. The last snow that we did, there was a casualty. The rear bumper was damaged on the 250 by the newer, younger plow driver who's not that old of a guy. He's only like 17, so it's to be expected. He says he's going to pay a portion of the bumper repair, and he's going to install the bumper once it gets in. I found one on eBay. They cost like $500, so that's a thing. The big snowfall that we had went great. We got done. I put in 12 hours. My guys put in like 8 to 9 hours, so that's pretty good. I mean, to get a snowfall like that done in 8 hours is pretty good. This is a site that I didn't think I'd be seeing in a long time. The lake right now is frozen, guys. Check it out. Didn't think I'd be seeing this ever again. It's been years since our lake has been frozen. Years. And here we are, frozen lake. As far as the eye can see, we have ice. So that's a sight to see, something we haven't had in a couple years, and it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting that we've got some cold weather here. It's 22 degrees today, and yeah. But you know, I think in the last video, if you watched to the end, you probably saw how I was bringing up the dryer vent situation, and it brings up one of these things that I've followed for a long time now, at least 5-6 years now, and that's taking ownership of your mistakes. And that's not something that's natural to American society, we tend to blame everybody. If you look at our systems, everything's blamed on someone else. Like slip and fall accidents, oh, let's just blame someone else. If everybody in this country took responsibility for their mistakes or for their own actions, then we'd all be in a better situation. So what happened with us is I noticed that we had a major issue with dryer vents being covered up by deep snow while plowing snow, while shoveling snow. Residential properties, dryer vents were getting covered up. And I tried to have a conversation with the guys. I did have a conversation with the guys. We talked about moving snow, and we talked about covering up dryer vents. Make sure you don't cover up dryer vents. Sure enough, the guys went out and covered dryer vents. They covered at least 3 or 4 because we went back and checked every dryer vent. But I happened to notice that one of them was covered. And it was weird because the way it was covered up, you couldn't even tell it was ever there. I just happened to remember where it was because I'm always thinking about this. And this comes down to taking responsibility for your actions and taking ownership, because this is my fault. I'm out here plowing properties, opening up properties after I've done everything that I'm entitled to do or required to do. I went out and did extra because I know the city's going to plow everybody in, and it's going to be my fault. Like, I could sit here and blame the city. I have 2 choices. I could sit there and blame the city for plowing after the fact, and and I didn't put the snow back. I didn't put the snow back in the approaches. And I could have said, oh, the city's fault. The city did that. No, it's my fault. I'm going to take ownership of the situation. I can get up early and reopen these driveways, and everybody can get out and go to work. Like, you could literally miss a day of work, and when your boss says, why did you miss a day of work? Oh, because of the snow. Well, it snowed like a day ago, so you're still missing work because of snow. How come you can't get to work? No, you have Stokes Outdoor. We're gonna come out here and make sure that, the city plowed you in. You know what? We had you open. I was right behind the plow trucks at 2 a.m. The plow trucks were just finishing up, and I'm right behind them, finishing up properties as well. They've just left, and I'm opening up the approaches again. So, that's part of taking responsibility, taking ownership. So I don't have a bunch of clients calling me and saying that they're blocked in and they have snowbank in front of their house and I'm blaming somebody else. No, it's already done before they even have a chance to call me. But in the process of doing that, I noticed that the dryer vents were being covered up. And being that we had a conversation about this, I know who did this particular house, and they all probably had a part in doing all the other houses. So I went and had a conversation with my little brother, who I know was the one who did the house that I found. And he was upset about it. He took ownership. He went and he checked every property, called every client, checked every property, and found 4 more dryer vents covered up. Cleared them all out, checked, and asked the property owner and let the property owner know that we're checking dryer vents to make sure that they didn't get covered up in the process of us doing your snow, and to make sure that there's not a snow drift that covered up your dryer vent without us even knowing. Now, the dryer vents, none of them were covered up by snow drifts, but like 3 or 4 were covered up by our actions. So he opened up all those, and now I guess he's gonna know better. But maybe for future reference, I'll actually put snow plowing stakes. I don't want it to be confusing. I don't want the guy to also go and snow plow a dryer vent because he sees a snow plowing stake. But some kind of marker or something needs to be put by these dryer vents that are going to be an issue, so that they don't become an issue and that they don't get covered up. And if you see these marks, maybe I'll get a yellow mark instead of an orange marker, and you see these yellow markers, and hey, yellow marker means dryer vent, or green or something like that, so you know that it means dryer vent for a residential and that it gets covered up. Now, all these things that I'm doing hopefully will help in the future so I can raise my prices, because I really don't like having all these residentials. It's not the funnest thing to do in the world. It does bring some money in, but I'm making a lot more on my commercial plowing, and I'm plowing 4 lots. But, I want to raise the price up so there's not so many, but I can do a better job for them. And it's all part of just being able to expand the business. If I got too many of these low dollar ones, and they're probably around like $500 right now for the season. If I get too many of them, and they're a headache to do, because it's going to cost me like, $400 to $500 to do the whole route worth of residential. So, and now at the same time, we're doing like, okay, 450 to 500. I think 450 is the minimum. No, 480 right now is the minimum. There's a lot of 480s, but there's a lot of these houses that are actually $1,000 houses for the season, whatever. So 480 is just the minimum. Some are 1,000, so it's not straight across the board. And every time I do a big snowfall, it costs me like $500 to run it. The guys aren't quite experienced or as fast yet because a lot of them are new, so it could be quicker. Some of the route density is a little bit messed up, but it has potential to get better because there's not too many areas out there. It's just like mainly 2 areas. There's an area where there's a small amount of houses, and there's an area where the density is decent and there's a lot of houses. But every year the density gets a little better because some neighbors are picking up. But the point is, I want to be able to raise the pricing. Now, like I said, it costs $500. It would take a lot of snow. And that's if it's a big storm. If it's a little 1-inch hit, I think this last 1-inch storm, we did it in like 4 hours. Whereas the big 8-inch hit that we did, my guys worked for 8 to 9 hours. And then, like I said, the 1-inch hit that we just did was like 4 hours. And it wasn't, that probably cost me $250 or I don't know. It didn't cost nearly, it probably did cost around $250 to take care of that property, or that snow event, little 1-inch hit. So it wasn't too terrible. So the thing is too, though, every time it snows, even though I lose potentially $500, $250, whatever, out of that reserve that I made, it would take a lot of snow to exhaust it. But, there's operating costs and truck payments and equipment and all that we have. That's also taking its toll on some of that reserve money. And there's all the things that I've did. I haven't taken any of the money and done anything crazy personal or blew it on some personal. All that money goes back into running the business or helping the clients and whatever. It's not like I've had excess of money to really live off of either. Like that money, it's not to the point where I'm making it this huge living. I'm still working. I'm still, doing all that, but it is enough to sustain the business and its expenses and all that. And the account's not being drained. It's enough to get that new plow. It's enough to get the harness and the hookup and all that. I did kind of play it safe a little bit and not get a brand new plow, which would have cost $10,000. But instead got one for $5,000, which when you take into account the install, the plow for $2,500, the wiring and truck side was another $1,700. This stuff adds up, it adds up to still be an expensive endeavor. But at the end of the day, it's still less than $10,000. I don't know if that was the right choice just yet, but it's a choice that didn't put me in any more debt. It's just, we did get a big new F450 this year, and we pretty much got after whatever we wanted to get this year. So it's kind of not that big a deal to have something used. And it's going to require some work, and it might end up just being on a different truck or an F150 or something like that. But yeah, guys, it's going okay this year as far as business and snow and all that. Despite, the unemployment still annoying and all that. But, I've been really bringing in some help, trying not to be, and there was a couple snowfalls where I was literally it was coming down to me being the only guy doing the snow, which would have been horrible. It would have hurt. It would have hurt bad to have to do all this. It would have took a toll on me because it's a lot. I would have had to work 24 hours straight in the cold. I'm a tough guy, but that's not smart. It's not something that's sustainable. It was coming down to just me and my little brother were the only ones working at a lot of times. So I got after it. I hired more people, did what I had to do, brought in more people, and it's been going a lot easier. So anyway, guys, that's it for this quick video. Just a talking in the truck situation, kind of like a vlog. Got my camera set up. Hope the audio sounds good. It's on a gimbal. It's controllable from the phone. I know I shouldn't be doing that. People are going to let me know, you can't control your phone and drive. Listen, I'm a professional. I plow snow. I control this controller when I'm driving, so why can't I control the phone when I'm driving? Don't worry about nothing. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is DS Trucks. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. See you in the next one. Hit the like button. Over and out. Thanks a lot. Bye.